Posts a new audio after 3 hours of silence, claims Wagner has crossed all state borders and is entering Rostov. So far, the claims about an alleged March column haven't been backed by video. We crossed the state borders in all places. Now we are entering Rostov. Units of the Ministry of Defense, or rather, the conscripts who were thrown to block our roads, stepped aside. Prigozhin claims, we are not going to fight children. We are only fighting professionals. But if someone stands in our way, we will destroy everything. We are extending our hand. Do not spit in it. We are going forward till the end, he added. So a mutiny or a putiny seems to be happening with, the Wagner group, the mercs, the mercenaries. Now, what's really funny about the situation is every aspect of this is a mid-off, okay? Every actor involved is bad. The only people that are involved that are not bad are just the civilians and the people who are like unwittingly forced into battle, okay? That's it. Felix Biederman says, Russia's Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeniy Prigozhin said that the Kremlin's rationale for invading Ukraine was based on lies concocted by his perennial adversary, the army's top brass. There was nothing out of the ordinary happening on February 24th. The defense ministry is trying to deceive society and the president and tell us a story about how there was a crazy aggression from Ukraine and that they were planning to attack us with the whole of NATO, says Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Russian Wagner mercenary chief. Felix Biederman says, holy shit, there isn't a serious country in this entire part of the world. Mongolia or the Ottomans need to remobilize and bring the entire region under a new order. I agree. When you're losing the battle and start talking about honor and loyalty at the bloody end, and you get that mercenary stare, that's such a good fucking meme, dude. Anyway. Funny how this is happening as the Ukrainian counteroffensive fails and the Pentagon magically finds $6 billion. Do you think this is due to just Russia fucking them over? Do you think there's some under-the-table non-prosecution for higher-ups in the Wagner group and maybe some dollars from the West? The Wagner shit is not just a mutiny, it's a call for civil war. Prigozhin called for the military forces to switch sides and also said the same for civilians who want to join. He said they will provide them weapons from armories that they will loot. Yeah. Your favorite country is collapsing. Why aren't you mad? What? Yeah, dude. I famously am a big time Vladimir Putin supporter. I can see this being, I have no idea, dude. I just don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay? I don't know. Truth lol? Yeah, no, I love schizophrenic chatters because they've just like made up shit in their minds and they believe it so thoroughly. Like they're like, definitely, dude. I'm in here. I'm gonna go on the HasanAbi broadcast today to watch him be so mad that like the fucking Nazi private military group is trying to start a civil war in Russia against the other ethno-nationalist stupid government of Russia that we basically designed and built. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Oh, what will I do? No, my perspective on this has not changed and will not change. They're having a fucking mid-off. Always. Okay? They're always having a mid-off. And I don't know what the fuck is going on half the time. Okay? Chatter found this journalist claims videos are real. A senior American intelligence official tells me both for Ukrainian and U.S. intelligence is a watch and see if they destroy themselves sort of situation. They said it's going to be a long night of watching how this develops, said Wagner is mobilizing and headed towards Moscow. And the OSINT Andes are saying that sources within the Wagner... Wait, was there fucking dead bodies in this? Oh, I can't see, but anyway, there's nothing so far. Sources within the Wagner PMC group are claiming that a missile attack launched by Russian forces have targeted one of their field camps in Ukraine, resulting in significant casualties. The leader of Wagner, Yevgeniy Prigozhin, has just stated that he believes the attack was ordered by the Russian Ministry of Defense. Americans need to just stop looking at Eastern Europe. Nothing good happens there. Thank you. I agree. That has been my perspective as well, which is I don't care. Fuck you, Hasan. Why fuck me? I don't care. I don't want the war to continue. I hope it stops, and I hope civilians stop dying. To give context to what's happening, okay, here we'll get more information from our Georgian correspondent. Okay, he says to give context to what's happening, Prigozhin released a video earlier today talking about how the invasion on 24 was bullshit. Later that day, rumors start spreading that Putin has ordered for him to be arrested. Prigozhin releases a video showing that what he alleges to be a Russian MOD airstrike on a Wagner camp, and then an hour later sends these messages out and basically calls for a civil war rebellion. Yeah, I mean, he has major issues with Shoigu in particular. This isn't a Western conspiracy. Prigozhin has been hinting at this all along. This isn't all of a sudden. I mean, I don't understand why the guy who's like, let's use the like rapist prisoners as in the front lines is like, this war is bullshit. Like, what's funny about the situation is, remember, when I said they're having a mid-off, I mean like these are all fucking awful people, right? So when liberals post shit like this, what they fail to recognize is like, these guys are fucking awful. Like, don't bother, Volodymyr. I will burn down Moscow. Like they're like getting fucking excited. They're getting excited at the prospect of like, again, the rapist pedophile military brigade. Like that do insane shit. Like these are the same people that they were talking about. These were the same people that they were talking about how like psychotic they are every time they wanted to like move the conversation away from every time they wanted to move the conversation away from like the potential Nazism within like Ukrainian ranks, they would go, well, Wagner is a bunch of Nazis, which is true. And I used that same example over and over again. But like, it's definitely the war criminal brigade turning on the other war criminal leadership in a country that is effectively doing war crimes, but I guess they have a difference in opinion on how to do the war crimes. Like, I don't know. Like, he's go. They're gonna be like, listen, Mr. President, Vladimir Putin, I don't like the type of war crime you're making me do. It's not good. I like my own kind of war crime. Another thing to consider is that he did not attack Putin in any way. He says this is his crusade against the RUMOD. He alleges that nothing else will change. He just wants to clean things up in the MOD and then resume the war. But obviously, the Russian government is not cool with this. Yeah, but Shoigu is an extension of Vladimir Putin. That's why he's in the position that he's in. So it doesn't even fucking matter. Saying that he hates the Russian MOD means that he's saying that he hates Vladimir Putin, because the Russian MOD is Vladimir Putin. Their entire job is to be an extension of whatever his needs are, whatever he wants to do. So that's what's going on. He is, he's just, I don't know. They're just doing the thing. CNN is covering it right now. Here, okay, we'll take a look at it. So yeah, there's a possible coup
of tricking the country into an unprovoked invasion back in February last year.
On February 24th, nothing extraordinary happened, but the Ministry of Defense was trying to deceive the public, to deceive the president, and say that there was insane aggression.
I think there's a higher likelihood that these dudes, the mercs, get, the mercs turn heel. I think, I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like the higher likelihood is that these guys get, maybe a little bit of funding and decide, maybe we'll just help out on the other side or something. You know what I mean? Little Russian
Tonight,
January
Aaron,
6th.
Moscow, the Russian capital, has been placed on alert, while Yevgeniy Prigozhin, in his latest address on social media, has said that his forces are entering the southern Russian region of Rostov.
His take is basically that they, MOD, have been lying and deceiving Putin this whole time.
And he says it is his intention to go on, in his words, until the end. Erin.
All right. Thank you very much, Matthew. Let's go straight to the White House now, because these developments are now front and center there as well. Jeremy Diamond is out front there. And Jeremy, how concerned is the White House about what is literally unfolding as we speak in Russia? I mean, Matthew talking about Prigozhin saying that he's going into Rostov-on-Don, a Russian city. We don't know in what capacity, what's happening, but this is changing minute by minute.
Yeah, there's no question about it. This is a fast-moving situation with massive geopolitical implications. And so obviously the White House very, very closely monitoring this situation. I'm also told that officials are being very cautious about any kind of statements that they put out because of the fast-moving nature of what is happening. But I can tell you, Aaron, that President Biden has indeed been briefed on this unfolding situation in Russia. And I have a statement from the National Security Council spokesman Adam Hodge, who says, quote, "We are monitoring the situation and will be consulting with allies and partners on these developments." Now, as I mentioned, this is a situation with so many implications here. Obviously, in the war in Ukraine, we know the key role that the Wagner Group has played in helping Russia with its military invasion of that country. But beyond even the war in Ukraine, Russia is a nuclear power. And so whatever happens, any kind of power struggle is obviously going to have massive geopolitical implications. Now, the U.S. has long monitored tensions between the Wagner Group and the Russian Ministry of Defense. We have heard that directly from the podium here at the White House. But
wait, hold on. My sources on the ground are saying Putin has responded by sending this to Rostov. Wagner has no chance. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's over. It's over. No, it's over. It's done. No, he's been dealing with coups for 25 years. He's going to go in there and say, "Where is the punani? Me want the punani. Me want the punani. I've been a Russian man for 25 years. Where mama at? Where mama at? Where the Wagner mama at?"
Steps are ours.
It's Jover. It's Jover. Okay, this will be done. This will be done by next morning.
Clear. What do you even make of all this?
Well, what that really describes, Aaron, is just this element of extreme chaos.
Where Babushka at?
I mean, it's been described that these events are rolling very, very quickly. But what it tells you,
Major General James Spatter,
is that
Marks.
you end up with circumstances like this when you have strong men, when you have these autocrats, and everybody pledges their loyalty to the individual. This is not a constitutional crisis. What this is a two strong men, Putin and Prigozhin, that have allowed this strategic lunacy to take place. So looking at this from the outside in, what are all the other global powers thinking, as just been discussed, in terms of how they think this is going to play out and what the longer term implications are? Look, if Prigozhin gets apprehended and somebody pops him in the head, what does that mean in terms of Putin's longevity?
Right.
Nobody
What does
knows.
that mean? I mean, they're now saying that at least the security services in Russia, as you talk about these disparate groups, are imploring Wagner fighters to detain and turn Prigozhin in. Now, who knows what happens? If something like that happens, does that then become something much bigger? It's impossible to know.
Oh, this is internal fighting, and I mean, I don't know that we can predict this with any level of certainty. I hate to sound too cynical, but why not? I mean, this could be some drama that's playing out that enhances Putin's stature at the expense of Prigozhin that's already been pre-baked. Prigozhin goes away, but he manages to live to fight another day in some means. We simply don't know right now, but we've seen this. This is a failed military with failed leadership. Putin has allowed that to take place. He's inserted this Wagner group to try to unscrew.
Worth noting that Prigozhin is more right-wing than Putin. That's like insane to think about. Both fucking suck, but I think Prigozhin would be more likely to carry out multiple genocides. Yeah, they're like, again, it's a race to the bottom, boys. It's a race to the bottom.
very much. And we are going to stay with this breaking news that is developing by the minute. Russia saying that it has upped its security posture in Moscow. Prigozhin claiming his men have now entered a city in
Why don't we just crowdfund to pay Wagner to fight against Putin?
Now watching,
I love liberals because they just they do unironically say stuff like this, not realizing what the implications of such a situation would be. Like we just said it. We just told you, dude, you guys last week were openly liberals last week were talking about how much of a fucking rapist, genocidal freak the Wagner guys were and how Nazi they were. And now this week they're like, but he hates Putin, so it's good now. It's no, they're bad. They're both bad. I don't know what is going to happen. It's again, they're having a mid-off. The best possible outcome of this mid-off would be that they just fucking fight each other so much that they, I don't know, can't. They're fighting each other so much that they can't fight in Ukraine, maybe. That would be good. And then Vladimir Putin magically decides, okay, I don't have enough resources to handle the Ukrainian conflict at the moment. We're just going to have to deal with this internally. Let them fight type situation. But usually that kind of stuff doesn't fucking matter because I don't know. He's not even against Putin. All his messages are about Shoigu and Gerasimov. He does not even talk about Putin. I mean, it also doesn't even fucking matter because the Russian MOD is Putin's extension. He can say that he hates how they've been lying to Putin and Putin is actually good, but that still doesn't change the reality that for example, Shoigu is in the position that he's in, not because of his excellence or military prowess or his unique interest in woodworking. He's in the position that he's in because he's friends and homies with Vladimir Putin. You know what I mean? Yeah, but so is Prigozhin, they're homies, lol. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what that... I mean, everyone is an extension of Vladimir Putin. Dude, even the fucking other hyper-nationalist CIA guy who got poisoned a million times, even he is allowed to exist because of Putin. All opposition is controlled opposition, even including ones that are CIA assets in Russia. Yeah, Navalny, yeah, that guy, the most poisoned man on the planet. Putin runs the fucking show. Yeah, I think he's pretending to fight only the MOD and not Putin for propaganda purposes. Yeah, the Communist Party of Russia isn't a real proletarian movement. Nope. Exactly. That's a great example of Vladimir Putin's the extension of power and what it represents. I don't know if I can watch any fucking Ukrainian videos because oftentimes Ukrainian videos spell trouble for me for many different reasons. Usually they just straight up show either the fucking Wagner dudes literally cutting heads or whatever. It's live leak. Ukrainian videos are all live leak.
Russia on a heightened sense of alert after the FSB security service in Russia.
Russian videos are all live leak too.
Yevgeniy Prigozhin of calling for an armed coup. Prigozhin tonight vowing retaliation after claiming that the Russian military killed a lot of his fighters in a strike. And he has also just announced that his fighters are entering the Russian region of Rostov, saying, quote, "We will destroy everything that gets in our way." That's the very latest that we have. We will destroy everything that gets in our way as he is entering the Russian region of Rostov. Our national security reporter, Natasha Bertrand, has been covering this story closely and following the American response as it develops. And Natasha, what more do you know?
Yeah, Aaron, so U.S. officials are telling us that this kind of inflamed rhetoric from Prigozhin is actually much more serious than they've seen from him in the past. And importantly, it does not come after some kind of Russian military failure in Ukraine that he has been so critical of, but it comes after he has accused the Russian Ministry of Defense of actually ordering an airstrike on his troops inside Ukraine. So they are very concerned that he is really out for revenge at this moment. And U.S. official did tell us that he believes that it is, quote, real, and that U.S. officials are monitoring this very closely. Previously, they have, of course, looked at this relationship between Russia's Ministry of Defense and Wagner with a lot of fascination, because obviously there is a very intense power struggle that has been underway between those two entities for quite some time now. Yeah. There was always a question of whether that would result in perhaps Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, giving Wagner Group and Prigozhin more power inside Ukraine. But U.S. officials now, they are taking what Prigozhin is saying and doing very seriously, and they're consulting with allies and with partners on what this could actually mean. Is it a real coup attempt? Is it something more deceptive than that? Right now, it is still really unclear, Aaron.
All right. Well, Natasha, thank you very much. And of course, as she gets more, she'll bring it to us. Steve Hall's with me now, the former CIA chief of Russia operations. And Steve, from these various details that are coming in, what do you read between the lines? What do you hear?
I think Natasha's reporting, Aaron, was really dead on. This is something different. This is in a different league. These three comments specifically that Prigozhin made, saying, "Okay, look, we need to get to Moscow. We need to march to Moscow and take care of the bandits who did these things to us," meaning his troops. He also said, this is getting a little bit less play. He also said, look, there was nothing going on in Ukraine when we attacked. That's directly against what Putin said is well, certainly at the beginning of the war, but as little as a week ago.
Yeah.
So all of this is really just in a completely different, it's in a different category. The FSB is now involved, the most robust of the organizations, the security organizations that Putin himself used to be in. So, now Putin's in this personally. It's going to be fascinating to see which way it goes.
Yes. So when you talk about Prigozhin also just saying, moments ago when he said he's going to the region of Rostov, again, the Russian region, not Russian occupied. This is full blown Russian territory. We will destroy everything that gets in our way. As the FSB has called for, fighters around him to detain him. What do you think Putin will do here? I mean, this is, and I know, maybe he's not sure himself, but what is how significant is this moment for Putin and his retention of power?
I think it's extremely important. It's an extremely important moment because certainly during Putin's regime over the past couple of decades, we have not seen anybody put this kind of pressure, say these kind of things, be allowed for a period of time to say the kind of things that Prigozhin has said. Most people get thrown into jail or exiled or worse. The problem that they've got with Prigozhin is, of course, he has an army. And so if the army follows him, now the FSB has an army too, but this could get very ugly and very unstable very quickly. And the Russians value stability above almost all else.
Do you think, Steve, it's just the optics of it right now, armed vehicles on the streets of Moscow, they're talking about an up security pressure. They're breaking into television, right? Prigozhin says he's marching there. He's in Rostov. He says he's going to destroy anything that gets in his way. Do you think we're going to, even if it ends quickly and who knows what happens, but that you could truly see armed conflict, Russia on Russia, in Russia, a civil conflict?
Well, the fact that we're seeing this reaction out of the Kremlin indicates that they at least believe that could happen. You've got, armored personnel carriers moving through Moscow, and you've got, the FSB saying, hey, your own guys should detain, the Wagner guys should try to detain or stop Prigozhin. All those show that there's great concern in Moscow that could precisely be what's going on. That said, Putin still has a lot of levers on his side that he can pull to stop Prigozhin, but I don't think we can any longer rule out the possibility that Putin is in serious trouble here.
All right. Well, Steve, thank you very much. It just obviously so much uncertainty and chaos in this, and appreciate your perspective and expertise. Thanks. Next, we're continuing to monitor the breaking news out of Moscow, plus more on the search for answers on the implosion of the Titan. I'm going to speak to a world-renowned explorer.
Okay. I feel like they're I don't know. Very likelihood that this could be a tactical deception. I don't know. Lukashenko and his family have boarded a private jet with an unknown destination. Government officials were seen fleeing Moscow. A 50-kilometer Wagner convoy is heading towards Rostov, and the regular army makes no attempts to stop them. The Russian army is surrounding the Duma building. Here's the thing. Don't say who cares about what's going on. Obviously, this has like important implications potentially in the war in Ukraine, right? Like, and that's important. It's going to, a lot of lives will potentially be a lot of lives could potentially be lost in the short term, and then some lives could be saved in the long term. It's just like entirely dependent on what ends up happening. But but again, a lot of this stuff is OSINT shit, so I don't know how real it is. And even with, it's also 4 a.m. in Rostov right now, so most people are sleeping. Info is going to be much slower. No, Shoigu asked Wagner to sign a contract basically ending Wagner and integrating them into the army. Prigozhin refused. That's the TLDR. The big implication for us is the 6,000 warheads in RU. Like, this will have global implications for sure, depending on where it goes. But even if it ends with Vladimir Putin dealing with Wagner, or the head of Wagner, and like restructuring it and putting it under the MOD, or which would be like the least different outcome than how things have been so far. Even if that's the case, that's still going to be consequential. Here, let's watch
Wagner
this.
Has issued what sounds like a declaration of war against his country's top military officials. Yevgeniy Prigozhin posted an audio message today accusing the army of launching strikes on his own troops. In a separate video clip, he said that Moscow's invasion of Ukraine was based on lies by the military's leadership. His Wagner group spearheaded Russia's capture of the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut last month, a battlefield success that has allowed him to criticize Moscow with impunity. Now, the main target of Prigozhin's tirade is the Russian defense minister.
The defense ministry is trying to deceive the public and the president and tell a story that there was some crazy aggression by Ukraine, and that together with the entire NATO alliance, they were planning to attack us. So the so-called special operation of February 24th was started for other reasons.
Well, military analyst Marina Marone is with the War Studies Department at King's College London. I asked her what she thinks is behind Prigozhin's statements.
Good evening. Well, it is interesting that Wagner has been silent for almost a month, and I mean Yevgeniy Prigozhin, and now he's coming out again. In between, we have seen accusations that apparently the Russian armed forces had attacked Wagner troops, and one hostage has been taken, and now it seems this back and forth game. And I think to a certain degree, the Ministry of Defense is going to show Wagner that it's not going to tolerate such behavior, even if Prigozhin himself has direct links to Putin. So I think we're going to see this power game for a while, but I don't think there will be a major escalation, because the Ministry of Defense also understands that it's a tool of the Kremlin, and the tool of the Kremlin to keep the military in check, amongst other things. Therefore, Wagner or Prigozhin can allow himself to be as explicit as he is without any punishment.
So if he's that important for Putin's war effort, what, if anything, can the Russian Defense Ministry do to check him out, to put him back?
This is the equivalent of when U.S. generals would have quibbles about the TV on the TV about the Iraq War. The mainstream media and NATO war hawkers are just painting it as a coup. No, it's not the equivalent of that at all. The American military, for all of its fucking faults and failures, is significantly better run than the Russian military. It's significantly better equipped. It's significantly better run. The internal conflicts are oftentimes dealt with behind closed doors. That's not even close. Stuff there are circumstances where things are very different in other parts of the world than the United States of America. There isn't like any example. There isn't any contemporary Western or contemporary American example of like a military, a branch of the military. Like Blackwater guys are not, driving tanks to the fucking White House. Okay? It's not happening. Or, yeah, Blackwater. I said it right. It's Blackwater, right?
Back in line.
Portugal, Carnation Revolution.
Perhaps there
I'm
will be,
talking about America,
by
and also
the Ministry of Defense
in
to
the last
Putin
10
to
to
silence Wagner.
the U.S.
in a
generals are
way,
much more
but
subservient to
without,
political branches. They did start to
any
act up under
sort of
Trump,
physical
though.
violence.
Yeah, they acted up under Trump because they wanted to do like a reading of gay books or whatever. Not because they were. If anything, they were like, oh, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Don't get us out of Afghanistan. We want to keep being in Afghanistan. Or there's a difference in opinion of like some people that want to get out of Afghanistan within the military and I guess like reevaluate how to best use their resources. But it was never like this. It's not like this at all.
And we will see on the battlefield, as I said, the Russians attacked the Wagner group. One soldier has been taken hostage. Now Wagner is claiming that the Russians have fired on their positions. So those kind of skirmishes we're likely to see, but I think mostly those things will be settled internally. And I think Prigozhin also benefits from going out and attracting public attention. And maybe his taunting is also useful for the MOD to take action. And we have seen that in the past 6 months. For instance, Wagner has taunted the MOD about the defenses after the loss of Liman and withdrawing from Kherson. And it seems like it's not the only reason, but it seems like it had some impact on the thinking, on the internal thinking.
Prigozhin also said in this video that the public, they've been lied to, that there was no NATO threat to Russia, no Ukrainian threat to Russia. Do we know, is this going to have any impact at all on the opinions or mood among ordinary Russians about this war?
Well, I don't think that Prigozhin has that power to influence the entire Russian population, because the narrative, not just prior to the war, but for the past at least 15 years, has been that NATO is preparing a color revolution inside Russia. So NATO has been this boogeyman for quite a while, and I don't think that one statement from Prigozhin will likely alter the views that have been persistent in the Russian population.
Military analyst Marina Marone from King's College London. As always, Marina, we appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I can give you a quick summary of what is happening if you want. Your Russian ex-subscriber. Wait, why ex? Why not current subscriber? And you won't be able to give us the explanation because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break and you'll probably be seeing an ad. Because I'm Russian, I can't subscribe. Well, okay, that's right. Also, you won't see ads anyway, because that is one benefit of being from Russia. But also, why are you asking me for permission? Just write it. You know I'm going to fucking read that shit. But anyway, at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And unless you're currently in Russia, you will see those ads, with another exception. By subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted a sub from 34MKD50, who has gifted 7 million subs over the course of the past fucking week. Okay? Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Please get deep into this. If any coup happens, I'm not ready for the same anti-Russian shit that has happened over the last 20 years. You've been talking about literally everything which has happened in the world. But as soon as there's a bright spot for being anti-Russian, you start talking about it on stream. I feel offended, bro. Read that shit. What? Please get deep into this. If any coup happens, I am not ready for the same anti-Russian shit that has happened for the last 20 years. You think I'm anti-Russian? What am I? Am I Vladimir Putin's blood boy? Or am I anti-Russian? Am I too pro-Russian? Like, what's going on? Sorry, thought you've been ignoring it. That's why I spammed? No. I'm anti-Russian. I'm anti-Ukraine. I guess technically I am anti-both. Let's be real. All right, where's the ex-subscriber? I wanna see what they have to say. Maybe they actually are watching ads at the top of the hour right now. You're anti-American too? I mean, that one actually does make sense. Like, not American people. I myself am American. I don't give a shit about ads. Man, I was joking, actually, but the thing is, in short, most of the patriot part of Russia doesn't believe Prigozhin went nuts, believes that Shoigu could actually bomb Wagner's positions right now, following the Prigozhin telegram. The Wagner group army goes into Moscow and the army lets them through. We believe, if we believe Prigozhin's telegram. Okay. What else? What? That is not accurate at all, says Ditch Digger. You're anti everything but China? Okay, well, I do have a soft spot for, you know, fast traveling. Fast traveling by train. A video of eyewitnesses appear with a block road from the Moscow side of the Volgodon intersection in Rostovon. Can you give a quick summary if you want? You're a Russian non-subscriber.
Me.
Okay. The war in Ukraine, inside of the Russian divided military.
As the